This fall, 6 cities. Prepare for 2 rebels with a cause. Phoenix, Houston, Charleston, Nashville, New York, Baltimore. The Rebels with a Cause comedy tour. Tickets on sale now at louderwithcrowder.com/tour.
I always realize, too, when I do that sip, I forget how to breathe properly. I go, do I sip first? Do I breathe first? You would think that something as basic as breathing is something one would... It should be on autopilot. Apparently, I need a checklist.
Actually.
All right, we have so much to get to today. But yes, we told you about it. You were asking about it. Tickets are on sale now at louderwithcrowder.com/tour.
Yes.
The fall tour with both Dave and I. And these are... some big-ass venues because we've had to do 2, 3 shows everywhere else. So you can meet your fellow viewers of the show. We are going to be in Phoenix.
Ahoy.
Houston.
Ahoy.
Charleston, West Virginia.
Ahoy.
Nashville.
Ahoy.
New York City.
Ahoy.
And Baltimore.
Ahoy.
Yep. Technically, it's Red Bank, New Jersey because New York City didn't want us, but, you know, it's basically New York City. It's like
That's so close.
20 minutes out of there.
It's just cleaner.
Yes. And if you stand on the right street corner, you will find yourself, you'll catch yourself, a Cory Booker.
That's true.
Or Kevin Smith.
Or a Kevin Smith. No. Kevin Smith is straight. So he is the quickest wit in the West. He's here. You know him. You love him. Dave Landau. How are you?
Ahoy. Good. How about you?
I am all right. We have so many stories to get to today, and none of it is the stock market because you've probably looked at your portfolio. Gerald A., my best man, the better man. How are you?
I was doing well until I just looked down and saw that it's down again.
Yeah.
Dow, so, you know, I'm going to hang myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my Fidelity app just deleted itself.
Guys.
Well, why don't you cry about it?
My Robin Hood app just it stole itself.
My Acorn app.
Celsius.
Yes.
Gosh, I got so much money in Celsius.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Crypto, the great thing is no one can control it except for the person who decided to control it.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the person who runs the company you invested it in.
Yeah, who owns all of it.
Right.
And can't cash it out.
Oh, my gosh. If I have one more person just, actually, it's your hard wallet in crypto. It's like, just shut up.
Whatever.
Okay? I've had crypto for a long time. I understand it, but stop acting like it's the new gold mining. No.
Zip it.
All right.
Be a fun sketch, an old prospector trying to...
I got
Mine for
Said
crypto.
Yukon Cornelius.
Yeah.
Bitcoin!
Look at all this.
But Yukon, I thought you wanted Ethereum. Nothing. Because there's no hard goods.
There's Litecoin up in them hills.
Right.
Servers. Servers.
So we'll be talking today about quite a few things. So first off, there's stuff happening with Saudi Arabia. I don't know if you know this. We can't produce oil here in the United States, but we'll beg Saudi Arabia for it at the same time while, Disney panders to hopefully get Saudi Arabia as one of their markets. We'll be talking about Lizzo. So,
Big conversation.
yeah, have your splash guards ready. And we'll be talking about as well. I'm trying to think of what else are we. Oh, Ohio teachers are allowed to carry firearms now.
They are.
They were before, but it was ridiculous. You had to basically have 20 years of police officer training or something.
Or 700 hours.
Or 700 hours. So it's a good thing. CNN lied about it this morning. We'll fact check them. And then if you are watching, of course, on Mug Club, we're going to address that trans story, the propaganda piece on Fox News. And I know it was last Friday, but I don't think anyone's done a really good job of rebutting it. So my question to you first is, it's Pride Month, and here it's Cultural Appropriation Month. This Thursday, Taiwan, by the way.
Yeah.
So we celebrate Pride Month by not celebrating Pride Month. But let me ask you a question: is what do you think it's going to take to stop the LGBT, the pandering with children now? I mean, remember when they said they weren't coming for your kids? Anyway.
Those are the days.
Yeah.
I just bought crayons for my son. They were a rainbow of colors.
Yes. Well, that's the problem.
They're going at him.
They're going at them everywhere. And you're like, plus black's not a color. It's a shade.
What is this?
You always had that one kid in grade school who was like, "What's black and white are not colors, they're shades."
Like,
you got me.
Jeez, go eat your crayons.
Yeah.
Also, they shouldn't put white in the box.
No, they really shouldn't.
I mean, for a lot of
anymore.
reasons.
It's just encouraging them to ruin your black leather couch.
Exactly. There's nothing you can do with it besides ruin a leather couch.
There's nothing else you can do.
No, there isn't. So you can't color with it.
I mean, unless you go to your teenage brother's room and ruin his black walls because he bought paint at Hot Topic. Now, you know how people would get really upset when we used to imply, or you used to believe, wrongfully so,
Wrong.
false notion that the LGBTQ AIP community is the most decadent, hypersexualized community in the world. Well, here's Christina Aguilera, who just, and if you have kids, by the way, this is not a trigger warning. They shouldn't see this. We've blurred it, but they would market this to kids. I'm telling you, kids shouldn't be watching this. Here's Christina Aguilera at a Los Angeles Pride event.
Even with the blur, you can still.
Pretty visible.
Jeez.
She's a mother.
Yeah. Father.
Yeah, well, the blur is 12 inches.
Yeah. It's a very generous blur. By the way, the event was open to all ages.
What?
All ages. And here's the thing: when they go, well, you know what? Straight people get divorced. Is something they'll have to make the argument about gay marriage. Or you know what? Straight people have pornography. You know what? No straight people are saying that Guar concerts should be open to all ages.
No.
Well, and every time that I see like Demi Lovato or one of those dancers or singers, I'm just like, this is you're not talented. You're just a whore going out there showing your butt to an audience.
Well, Christina Aguilera is talented. She's also a 50-year-old whore.
Well, she just stayed that way.
And just to be
Yeah,
clear,
she's talented.
yeah, just to be clear,
Kind of whore.
I mean, she does too much running. With like, it's like,
Well,
just
yeah,
hold the
she-
note.
Yeah, that.
I'm a drinking in the baton.
Gotta rub her the right way. It doesn't appear there's a wrong way, Christina.
Take a note from
No.
Celine Dion or Carpenter. You're not cool. Yeah, well, neither are you with a 12-inch penis, okay? I don't think that's very cool, but what do I know? Call me Mr. Old-Fashioned. This is one of those situations where, when I say whore, just to be clear, what do I mean? I mean selling sex for money.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Clear.
So,
All on the same page.
yeah. Would you prefer prostitute? I'm willing to amend the statement. Is there anything else we need to say about that? I mean, look, this is, remember we'd say, look, hold on a second. We just don't want you hypersexualizing our community with children. Like, oh, why do you think that we're going to do that? Because you were on stage with a 12-inch rubber cock open to all ages? I don't know. I just, are we missing each other?
Yeah. I mean, the personification of a man is a 12-inch strap-on.
Yes.
That's the standard.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. She was wearing the chest plate, too.
Right.
Well, and another girl coming
like that.
over and saying sex is what they were saying there.
Right.
So I mean, it's obviously family friendly.
When we were kids, think of how scandalous it was. Just salt and pepper.
Yeah.
With no R.
Oh, I love salt and pepper.
Push it.
Don't go
Push
chasing
it
water.
good. You're like,
Good.
oh. Now here we are.
Yes, I love them though, and the condiments.
Can you imagine making this argument in 1999? It'd be like, because in 2022, Christina Aguilera will have a
Right.
12-inch penis on, and everybody's going to think that that is totally fine.
You and your
the
fear-mongering
event.
with the slippery slope.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. You'll see it.
cute
It's
girl?
not fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, who sings "Genie in a Bottle"? The song your girlfriend
Yes,
puts
that-
on.
Why would she need to do that? She's cute.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Okay, fine. A man will be walking down the street in a parade having breasts and twerking with a police officer. How about that?
Never seen that at a Christmas parade? You never saw Santa Claus show you his penis?
No, Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Never seen St. Patty's Irish
kept it
meat and
behind
potatoes? No?
Closed doors.
Lord knows I have. At least you look like Santa.
I said man with breasts and woman with okay.
Yeah. Well, you know
That
what?
should have been enough.
It just, yeah, boy, it's just too. You would be dying laughing if you were a
Of
kid.
course.
That's the truth. Like if I was like 7 or 8 years old in the crowd as a kid,
Yeah.
I would be crying laughing, and it's not. That's not something you should see.
No. Also, I'd grow up never feeling like a real man because I was a very generous rubber apparatus.
Well, yeah. How are you ever going to live up to that? You're never going to live up to the size of Christina Aguilera's penis.
That's true.
Disney star to 12-inch dong.
Speaking of size, and trust me, we'll get to more serious news in a second. But you know what? This does matter because this is how they open the door to then have drag queen story hour for your kids, to then market to your children, to then say that children should transition, and then we get to the point where parents are disallowed from not permitting transition of their children. Right? And now you have Child Protective Services. That's how you go down the steps. Let's be really clear about it. It does start with the absolving of any and all moral standards. And look, I don't care. You guys want to do that at a show with adults, fine. But deliberately making it open to all children, it's the same thing. You want to do your drag queen story hour? No one complained, just to be clear. No one complained when you did it at your private gay bars. No, but when you do it at a public library with children, all of a sudden, that's where you get people, I guess, guilty of hate speech. And by that, I mean criticizing your 12-inch rubber penis. Now, speaking of unsightly...
Using it as a bookmark?
Yeah. It doesn't really work that well.
Come back tomorrow, kids.
You need to have a pop-out book.
It ruins all the pop-ups.
Yeah. Speaking of talentless and unsightly, Lizzo just changed the lyrics to her new song, Girls, with no I.
Grr.
That's how you know you're hip, is when you don't use vowels. So,
Like a bear.
yes, exactly. Right. Like the sound that no man ever makes when they see Lizzo. That would be called, ugh. So she changed the lyrics to her song Girls after being confronted online, and so she walked it back about, and not for the reasons you think, a problematic slur in the song.
Lizzo is listening and taking action following backlash to the lyrics of her new song, Girls.
Pizza,
the
pizza.
three-time Grammy winner responds to the criticism on Instagram after being called out for including a word that's considered to be an ableist slur. She adds, "I'm proud to say there's a new version of Girls with a lyric change. As an influential artist, I'm dedicated to being part of the change I've been waiting to see in the world."
Now, here's what's so funny about that. Trigger warning for all of you who think that you're adults but aren't. They try and avoid the slur. So you're sitting like, oh my gosh, what was it? Was it the N word? Maybe it was the C word? Maybe it was the B word? No, she says that stuff all the time. The word was spaz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yes, the word was spaz. And I love it. Like, this is what happens is when everyone just agrees, oh, it's not he, it's she. Oh, you can't say, well, we can't say spaz, like gypped, we lost to gypped.
We should never lose that.
Because of the gypsies and their traveling caravans. Like, come on, what am I offending the broad from Hunchback of Notre Dame? Now, the term is allegedly derogatory because it's an ableist slur. That's how it's labeled in UK and Australia.
What?
So
What if someone's a spaz?
Yeah.
you can't say that.
We all know somebody who's like way too hyper.
Dave, you're going to get us banned.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Spaz.
to offend the hyper
Let's not
people.
throw around the S word like that.
Can we say spastic?
Oh, you son of a...
I mean, that's the full word.
You just did it with a hard C.
Yes. What do doctors do when they
landing
prescribe
there.
the antispasmodals? Just you know what? Just take the opioids. I don't even want to have to say this.
Take the bottle. and
Yes.
Don't call me.
Right.
You
Take
won't be able to.
92 and don't call me in the morning.
Yes. Fill a hot tub.
Disconnect your phone.
Have you seen Killing Versace? You've seen that? The last scene with Ricky Martin? Do that.
Yeah.
Now, fans did reach out to her because spaz is a slur now, and these are some of the tweets of them voicing their disappointment. Please remove the word, and they dash it out, by the way. They dash it out at Today Show, whatever their website is. Please remove the word S-Z. Spaz, just for those listening on audio, just so I'm clear, they're still using the same word. Please remove the word spaz from your new song because it's a slur and really offensive to the disabled community. The slur stems from medical terminology that was hijacked and then used to mock people. Then there was the noted disability advocate Hannah Diviny, I don't know how it's pronounced. She tweeted out, "My disability, cerebral palsy, is literally classified as spastic diplegia. Your new song makes me pretty angry plus sad." And even worse, she followed it up with a tweet that read, "Zizhskapam." So
That happens.
we're not going to be issuing any retractions where this isn't the Today Show.
We tried to space it out, but you wouldn't have understood it.
It's highbrow.
And Lizzo immediately caved into herself like a dying star, putting out a statement.
It's clearly what she did. It's clearly not what she meant. Yeah, that's what it was about. Cerebral palsy.
Yeah, she was sitting there like, "I hate them shaky mother.
Yeah, what do you call that thing they got?
I want to rap battle them in the all up in the wheelchair talking to robot shit."
Yeah. Because that's what I think of when I think of as a spaz.
Yes.
A person who's disabled.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's the
not-
opposite of that.
It's really a hyper person who won't
Yes.
calm down.
Right,
That's what
that's
I thought
exactly
a
what it
spaz was.
So Lizzo, she put out a statement saying, "It's been brought to my attention that there is a harmful word in my new song, Girls, no I. I feel dumber just having read it. I never want to promote a derogatory language as a fat black woman in America. Well, at least you own it. I've had many hurtful words used against me, so I overstand the power of words. Did she actually write overstand?
Yep. Yes, she did.
This was copy and paste. Look, no, she mashed.
So much,
overstand.
So much
Did
money.
she mash it like potatoes?
Her touchpad is like those old people telephone numbers.
Oh, I can't imagine.
We have voice recognition now. All you have to do is say it. You
Thank
don't
God.
have to.
She probably did.
Well, yeah, it's better than just the number 5
Listen, I
over and over again.
So I overstand. I do not understand. I overstand. Sometimes I through stand, bitch.
That's understanding too much.
I overstand the power words can have. As an influential artist, I'm dedicating to being part of the change I've been waiting to see in the world. Now, here's the thing. There are many things. Heavy things.
Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. For her, it's the woman in 2 mirrors.
The giant mirror.
In 2 mirrors.
I bought a funhouse mirror, so I look tall.
It don't matter if you're 10 or 9 stone. Which, by the way, that's a stupid measuring when they in the UK. Like, yeah, I'm 9 stone. Well, what's that? I don't know. 10 stone is a 40-pound difference. That doesn't seem accurate.
It's an odd.
Oh, jeez.
It's an odd measurement.
So here's the thing. She apologized for something that I couldn't care less about. But again, you're watching this happen in real time. Remember how you all thought, like, when did we lose the word retarded? I didn't even know we lost that word.
Yeah.
And we lost it. The word spaz now. You are going to have your children say you can't say the S word. And this isn't because it's something that everybody agreed upon, that it's something that was deliberately designed to be offensive. Let's not compare this to something like the N word, which was deliberately used, right, to subjugate people, which was deliberately used. It was created to be derogatory. Let's be clear about the difference of the historical context of, like, the N word in the United States versus spaz. It didn't mean this. It wasn't intended to be ableist, but people decide that they are going to remove words. Remember Lenny Bruce? Don't take my words away. Now let's take all of the words away. That's a problem, and you're seeing it in real time. I know you think spaz maybe doesn't really matter because you don't use the word that much. It's going to be another word. And it's going to be another word. And they'll always compare it to civil rights. They'll always compare, just like with gay marriage, they would say, well, are you against interracial marriage? Hold on a second. I don't believe that someone who's born with a different shade of skin and has been actually the subject of oppression, of torture, of wrongful treatment, of actually foregoing their civil rights, I don't think that should all be compared to your preference of friction. That's just my personal belief. And the same thing now, they want to compare spaz to slurs, racial slurs.
I just remember writing all my favorite bands when I was a boy about what offended me.
Yes.
And I like that they changed all the words back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alice Cooper got right on that.
Yeah, he was right on top. Jeremy was originally called Dan.
Yes. Yeah. And Kiss was originally called, I mean, it was a sexual thing. They scaled it back.
Love Fun became Love Gun.
Yep.
I just don't, if you actually...
You can't even say gun anymore.
Well,
Happiness is a warm rope.
But if you actually, the problem is that this is being given into.
Yes.
Like, you're so entitled that you actually wrote a pop star that you were offended by a word.
Yeah.
And she changed it. That's insane to me.
You wrote a pop planet who misspells the word girls and consistently creates the most profane, disgusting lyrics and accompanying visuals because of what offends you. So, by the way, no apology for these other lyrics. And I don't think she should have to apologize for these lyrics.
I don't
just to
think
be
she should.
clear.
Yeah. Or
But-
the other one.
And I haven't heard the song. I deliberately avoided it. But this is the song. This is how it begins. Bitches, bitches, hold my bag, bitch, hold my bag. Do you see this shit? Hold me back. I'm about to knock somebody out, yo. We're my best friend. She the only one I know to talk me off the deep end. All right?
That's pretty good.
Graphic imagery of I'ma go Lorena Bobbitt on him so he never F again. No, you never F again, bro.
Pizza.
So you're mad about spaz, where she is threatening to cut off a man's penis
Yes.
so that he can never procreate again. That's a hate crime.
It's anti-trans.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the day.
I guess if you're not choosing to be.
With Christina Aguilera, it's anti-polymer.
That's true.
The phrase spaz is the problem.
Yeah.
I should have been a lyricist.
Yes.
Just write bitch 4 times on a piece of paper. There's your new song.
I'm a poet. Yes. Who couldn't forget Robert Frost talking about Lorena Bobbitting your cock so that you never F again, bro. Emily Dickinson, I remember that as she stared out to the fields of bitches be crazy.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. People are so self-important. And so, I mean, we have, remember when Christopher Pine tweeted out, I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy?
Why did you say Christopher?
Is it Chris Pine? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I've
never once heard say Christopher.
Chris Pratt, though?
Were you thinking of Robin?
No, the guy that started.
Were you thinking of Christopher Robin?
Oh, no, it's
Apparently
fine.
It's Pine. Okay,
Dad.
fine. All right. Remember when he tweeted out, "Turn it up" when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out because the soundtrack was great, or one, whichever one it was, and the deaf community just went after him, and he had to sign an apology. I was like, guys, why have you given an inch? People, listen, I get it. If you don't like it, fine. Don't listen to Lizzo's songs. They're not good anyway. Perfect. Problem solved. If you think she's being, I guess, using slurs against you, she's being insensitive to whatever. But ever since we told people that you can have an opinion that cannot be, there's no objection that can be placed against it, you are protected. They think they have a right to do this and that Lizzo has to respond.
Well, Christopher Pine, as you so put it, got in trouble for turn it up. Wait till they hear pump it up, pump it mediocre, pump it down.
But why?
It's
not his fault you're deaf.
Right.
Well, that's true.
I'm sorry for deaf people, but,
And the limb different thing that we had as well that we covered
amazing.
years ago. All
witches
these things,
with,
yes.
And Anne Hathaway, I am so sorry.
So sorry.
No, you're not.
Nobody.
No.
Sorry for what? That your mom drank when she was pregnant?
Yeah. What are we going to do next? Ban Hulk hands?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah.
And here's the thing, too. Look,
Sorry,
remember,
Miss
these were
Lobster.
the same people who attacked Christian conservatives for saying, you know what, we just think that kids shouldn't have access to this. For example, I actually sat in on a speech from Matt Stone. And he was talking about, he said, actually, Christians didn't want to ban South Park. They just didn't want us to be on early in the day. And we agreed with them.
Yeah.
I remember him then saying, but then when we decided, we mocked Jesus repeatedly, we mocked Christians repeatedly, and rightfully so. He said we were an equal opportunity offender. When we did it with Islam, all of a sudden Comedy Central wouldn't produce it. They wouldn't allow us to create this program. This is the issue. These people who said that you were hateful for having standards, saying if you don't like it, change the channel, now are telling people that you can't use the word SPAZ, that you can't say a biological man is a man. These were the same people who thought that you were just a prude if you thought that people actually having sex on stage and on floats shouldn't be in front of children. So it's not the issue of double standards. It's the issue of entirely artificially created standards. You were blamed for having standards at all. For decades, you were seen as a square. The left is just a square, only it's made up. It's not based on any kind of a thread of common decency. Can we all agree? I think most people would agree. All right. A man with breast implants fornicating on floats and Christina Aguilera is a pop star with a giant rubber cock. That's probably not for children. But they go, no problem with that. That's open to all ages. But we're literally going to have to bleep out the word SPAZ in our articles. Who are the Puritans here? All right.
Wow, that's a good point, though. Mm-hmm. I really can't. It's frightening when you break it down.
So don't feel guilty for having standards, because the left has them too. They just have the wrong ones, and they're ever changing.
Just gender blindness and
gender blindness, and I don't. Are we supposed to be disability blind?
Well, it's a word.
It doesn't even mean what you think it means.
No, it doesn't even.
It's violent state.
Nobody looks at a spastic.
That offends me
if
more
somebody
than
is having like a
anything
spastic issue where they're shaking all, or nobody's like, you're a spaz.
Yeah. There was
Calm down, stupid body.
There's no root like Stephen Hawking tied to a tree. Like, oh no, stop! Come on, say your slave name, boy. Please stop.
Lizzo's also health blind. Brendan just sent this to me. I think.
Well, soon she will be blind. The diabetes.
No, for sure. So this picture she put out. The caption says, "I'm releasing the idea that I'm eating good or bad. I'm just eating."
Well, she's also releasing the idea that she uses grammar good.
There's pineapple on that pizza.
Well, she's getting her daily intake of fruit. It's basically juice. I ate juice for dinner.
I
got fruit.
Well, it's better than Michael Moore.
Right. Now, look, let me just be really clear. So people are saying, are you picking on Lizzo because she's morbidly obese?
Nope.
Yes.
Not
because but because she's advocating that your children be. Now, they want to make sure that your children, by the way, get called into the principal's office if they say, hey, Eric, stop being a spaz. But Lizzo can tell your children to eat whatever they want, and all body types are the same. They're equal as it relates to health. One is a lie. One is a verifiable lie. The other is just a term that some people find offensive, which isn't meant to be offensive. We really are in clown world. We really are in fat, disgusting clown world.
That SPAZ is eating everybody's lunch. What did you just say? No, it's like his 8th bag. He's just stealing them.
That Lizzo is eating everybody's lunch.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if she was a SPAZ? She had the shakes, for crying out loud. People in Japan would be running from the coasts.
Is nerd going to be the next problem?
But nerds. I want some nerds. I put some nerds on my pizza.
And they're like, you.
Did you say candy?
I happen to have a disorder.
Yeah.
Where I have to wear very thick glasses taped in the middle. It's just so stupid.
Like, Miss Lizzo, look, I know that you think all bodies are healthy, but you need to lose. You need to lose, about 200 pounds, or you're gonna lose your foot. How much a foot's weigh?
Does that count towards the goal of 200 pounds?
May I eat it?
It's just Biggest Loser, only it's now an amputee just waddling. I win, bitches!
As somebody who is also limb different now, based on my choices.
More limbless. Limbless. Should have eaten more pineapple. Now.
That one leg would just like, all right, you can stand up, and just the bone rips through.
No!
It's a bone peg leg.
You can't just put all that on one leg.
There's no way.
Are you kidding me?
All right, let's get to this, too, again, while we're talking about double standards. And it's not the hypocrisy. I've always said this. It's not double standards, because if there were no double standards, the left would have none. It's not the hypocrisy. It's that they don't believe what they tell you. This is the issue. It's not that Nancy Pelosi had a double standard, that she was hypocritical with COVID. It's that she wasn't afraid of COVID when she was going into a particle vortex to get her blowout. The same thing with AOC. The same thing with Whitmer. So I want to be clear. It's not just saying, well, you're hypocritical. We're all hypocrites. Everyone here is a hypocrite. I understand that. But you can be a hypocrite and still believe in what you say and fall short of your standards. The left does not believe what they say. So Buzz Lightyear, the new film, has the gay kiss, as is required in a children's film.
Well, in Disney, of course.
So now there have been several countries in the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia, who've banned the release of that film, Lightyear, surprise, due to the inclusion of a same-sex kiss.
Pixar's Lightyear has been banned in the Middle East over a same-sex kiss scene featured in the Toy Story prequel spin-off. The Hollywood Reporter has learned that the film is banned in various Middle East countries, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The scene in question, involving the female character Hawthorne, voiced by Uzo Aduba, and her partner, was originally cut from the film, but reinstated following the uproar surrounding a statement from Pixar employees claiming that Disney had been censoring overtly gay affection, and Disney CEO Bob Chapek's handling of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. The UAE's Media Regulatory Office announced June 13th that the movie, due for release June 16th, was not licensed for public screening due to its, quote, violation of the country's media content standards.
Okay, a couple things. First off, who'd have thought the country that doesn't allow women to drive by themselves might have a problem with queer kissing in children's movies? And then think of that statement. The employees at Pixar said that Disney was, quote, editing overtly same-sex. You said overtly. We didn't. Yes. You should also probably think of eliminating overtly sexual themes for any children's films.
Be a good place to start.
Yeah.
I don't like an unnecessary sex scene in any movie. I don't like that they go to a place that doesn't have any impact on the story. And I guarantee you this gay kiss doesn't impact the story and shouldn't be in a kid's movie anyway.
I mean, unless it sets in place like a butterfly effect where the universe just is destroyed. Well, shouldn't have had that gay kiss.
They did cut out the Requiem ending where they used Woody.
Oh, jeez.
Woody and Lightyear.
Both ends.
Just pull out Woody.
So now
Asian
let's
men throwing money.
And again, this goes back to the idea of standards. Let's see what Chris Evans has to say. Lightyear star now. So this is what he's saying now. Do you have that, Tim? The now and then, or no?
No.
Okay. All right. So here's what he's saying now about this. And keep in mind that the Middle East is not a huge market for Disney. It's not like China. And also Chris Evans is there because why? Tim Allen was too offensive because, keep in mind, Tim Allen endorsed John Kasich. He's the one, I knew that he existed, but now John Kasich's fan was Tim Allen. So this is not a MAGA ultra-right, as the left wants to label them, conservative. Tim Allen was slightly more conservative. You won't find anything wildly offensive from Tim Allen. You'll just find him leaning more toward the right, and so he was removed and Chris Evans was put in. But now, you can never please any, because appeasing crocodiles is futile. Chris Evans had some words to say about the Middle East ban. This is what he said. This is how soft it is. It's great that we are a part of something that's making steps forward in the social inclusion capacity, but it's frustrating that there are still places that aren't where they should be. So no condemnation of Islam or Saudi Arabia at all. No condemnation of the ideology that would have a problem with homosexuality. And by the way, they have the right to have this problem. You know what? Sometimes I look at it and say, ISIS wasn't all wrong. Now...
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. And by the way, in Saudi Arabia, in other words, it doesn't match the intensity. When in Saudi Arabia, if you're gay, there's the death penalty. You can be flogged. Who knows if you're going to be thrown off a rooftop. The point is, the condemnation is, it's frustrating. It's frustrating that Christians are being burned alive in cages. I know it didn't happen in Saudi Arabia. I'm just saying if the outrage matched the intensity of the offense, if you actually wanted to look at Islam. But you don't, because they, the most extreme of their ilk blow stuff up. So he's had no trouble, though, when you look at the intensity and ripping into Republican leaders who are obviously more hateful than advocating the death penalty for homosexuals. To Lindsey Graham, Chris Evans said, "Hey, Smithers, remember when you said this? You know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell. Mm-hmm. What do they have on you? I can't tell if this shameful 180 is born of fear or thirst. Either way, we will always remember you as nothing more than a remora." Here he is to Republicans. "Wow, hey, Republicans, are you listening to this come-to-life toilet spew complete lies about the integrity of our democratic process?" Hey, hold on a second. That sounds a little bit more passionate than, it's kind of frustrating that in Saudi Arabia they murder anyone with a lisp.
Well, technically it's a flying test.
Right.
So if you fly, you're not gay, but if you don't, then obviously you were gay.
Right, yeah, gay in Saudi Arabia is just a straight who got his pilot's license.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unlike, Saudi Arabia, they're not all, closeted Republicans.
Right. It's just amazing.
There's a lot, though, in the Arab countries, because I know that from even being in,
of course.
Because my friends would work at, Harmony House and, Sam Goody, and they'd come in and be like, yes, I have a special order for John. Right. And it was just stacks of gay porn.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about his condemnation of China? We have that too, right?
Right. His condemnation
I'm
of
sure
China.
He's condemning the fact that they're putting Uyghurs in camps.
Yeah. So he doesn't stand up for Muslims in China because they can't,
Right.
because that's a significant market. He won't condemn Muslims in the country that, by the way, they kill gays, and not to mention their mistreatment of women. But he will condemn Christian white conservatives for saying, "Hey, maybe we should have a wall on our border." He just went into a tirade. "I can't believe this racism." Hold on a second. You're more offended by a wall?
Yeah. And by the way,
at least we're not throwing gays into it.
Right, exactly. Where was he when Hillary Clinton was saying that the election was stolen from her in 2016?
Right.
Was he also saying, can you believe that this person is challenging the legitimacy of our elections and undermining our democracy?
It's outrage currency. He doesn't believe what he's saying, or certainly he doesn't have, He doesn't have the balls that Christina Aguilera has to actually stand up for what it is that he's saying.
She does have bigger balls.
When faced with actual adversity of thought. So, by the way, speaking of Saudi Arabia, former Vice President Joe Biden is going to be visiting I use the term kingdom. I use it ironically. Because it's not. He's going to be visiting the kingdom next month to beg for oil. Now, keep in mind that Saudi Arabia, again, the place that kills gay people, the place that doesn't have equal rights for women, and they always try and trot this out like, well, we have plenty of female representatives in our. Okay, sure. Can they drive? So
they also kill reporters that are critical of the regime. So,
well, yeah, but that's not as bad as Donald Trump saying that fake news.
Yeah.
How much money do you want to bet that Chris Evans is like, I'm fiscally conservative, but socially liberal? Yes. I guarantee you.
Yes. I'm fiscally liberal, but fiscally conservative, but otherwise a prick.
Yeah, that's what I do. In other words, I like to keep all my money.
Yes.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if Hollywood hated Democrats, I would too.
Yeah. I just like cash, and I'll say whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So Saudi Arabia, of course, is one of the biggest exporters of crude oil. Doesn't need to be. So, hey, leftists, just while we're talking about the Green New Deal and environment, how about just this? How about we should use our own oil reserves? We would never have to import oil ever again if we actually tapped everything that we had here in the United States. How about just because you don't want to support nations, not only that don't have necessarily EPA standards, that murder gays? How about that? Wouldn't it be better for us to, and I know, let's even take an extreme example. Hey, wouldn't it be better to get oil even from West Virginia around all those crazy conservative rednecks? Wouldn't you still rather get oil from there than the place that forces gays to be professional crash test dummies in Saudi Arabia? Wouldn't you just, I'm just saying, let's take the most extreme area of the right here in this country. Not even close. Are they advocating for the execution of all gays, by the way, without an actual judicial system? So during his campaign, though, back then, former Vice President Joe Biden made a promise to render Saudi Arabia effectively a pariah. He said, we're going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are. There's very little social redeeming value in the present government in Saudi Arabia. Now he's calling them an important partner, saying the United States must engage to advance its interests, including trying to bring stability and peace to the Middle East.
Do you think after that first quote, they're like, sir, that's where we get all our oil? Oh, no. They're a strategic partner, like I said.
Tell we're friends.
Yeah. Guys, I was kidding.
Oh, tell them I like the thing they wear on their head.
Yeah, it's neat. Can I have one?
I saw Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah,
I love it. Feels good.
Like it.
I don't think women should drive.
Is that silk?
And this
Am
is
I a woman? I shouldn't drive.
And here's the issue is, when do you ever you only stand up for your morals, the left, when you're standing up against someone who's not going to fight back. And unfortunately, that is Republicans, that is conservatives. But I also mean that they're not actually calling for execution. For all of this misinformation or all of this grandstanding that Donald Trump was a fascist and his supporters want us. Typically, fascists don't want you to have more access to guns and lower your taxes, just to be clear. They're not typically ardent defenders of the First Amendment, just to be clear. But okay, let's even go with that. If you were upset about it, how about places like Saudi Arabia? Former Vice President Joe Biden. Disney is just allowing Chris Evans to sort of, issue this milquetoast response because they don't make any money in the Middle East. So, all right, we'll just say you're frustrated. Don't go in any harder than that. Whereas Biden, of course, stands to make a lot of money. And he's trying to rescue his presidency, former vice presidency, from, the jaws of hell.
Yeah.
So now he thinks, all right, I'll have a meeting and we'll open up the oil and maybe gas prices will get lower. How about doing it here? Oh, you can't do that because then you have the environmentalist lobby here who is just as illogical, who will be mad at you. None of this, by the way, is looking out for your best interest. This is why I have a problem with people saying, oh, I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm socially liberal. Look at the consistency here. Look at the through line. None of this has your best economic interests at heart. We all know that. Everyone agrees on that right now. But none of this has your best social interests at heart either. They don't want you to have the right to make your own parenting decisions. Who do you mean by they? The left. Well, they're going to be left versus right because only one side believes in puberty blockers and transition surgery for kids. How about that? That's why there's left and right.
Well, he also shows that when he's running for president, he'll say anything. I'm going to make them a pariah. Until you get into office and realize the only way to make them a pariah is to not be dependent on them. And the first thing that you did was say, I am going to make it to where we don't have our own oil. We don't have our energy. We don't have the ability to do anything. Russia, you can do the thing that you were wanting to do, but we can't do ours. And he's come out and said that over and over and over and over, that he wants to get rid of oil. He hates oil companies. They're trying to blame inflation, by the way, on price gouging. Gas prices are over $5 a gallon in this country because oil companies are gouging you, not because I shut everything down, not because I've said we don't need to do our own
And
production.
just to be clear, before people try and fact check us, they'll say, well, actually, we're tapping into more reserves now than, okay, yeah, sure, I understand what you're talking about right now, but it doesn't actually compare to what leases would have been made available. And by the way, it's an incredibly speculative market. People say that the president doesn't control gas prices. I understand that it's more complicated than that. But when you are dealing with a market that is highly speculative, the rhetoric of someone saying, we are going to shut down oil and gas. The rhetoric of someone saying, hey, I am anti-oil. You watch, I'm going to end fossil fuel companies. The rhetoric of someone saying, we need to transition to technology, green technology that isn't quite there yet, right? And then not to mention putting a moratorium on new drilling. Guess what? You have the marketplace pull back. They say, ooh, we better prepare for lean times. Hey, just so you understand it, you guys been preparing for lean times? I know a lot of Americans don't save, but if you're watching, you're likely somewhat fiscally responsible. Are you planning on there to be some kind of an economic downturn? If you plan for that, do you spend more? If you're a business owner, do you expand more during that time? Or do you tighten down? That's what's happened with the oil. You could change the price of gas tomorrow with a few key statements and maybe a fraction of the executive orders that he signed going the other direction. You absolutely could. It's not the only reason, but it's a huge contributing factor.
You open up completely. You say, we are going to use every single possible resource that we can so that if something like Russia invading Ukraine, who could have predicted that, happens, we won't be dependent on OPEC. We won't be dependent on Russian oil. We will be dependent on our own energy. And therefore, because we use the most of it, the rest of the world will pay lower prices. OPEC will have less power. That's how you do it. You don't sit there and wait for the crisis. And that's what he's done.
Well, of course, that's what they've always done.
Well, he's also induced the crisis.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to just see the difference, mail something to Oklahoma and then mail something to Saudi Arabia. Tell me what's more expensive.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's way cheaper for the U.S. to drill here but it had to be a problem. It had to be the environment. Well, all these other countries do not care about the environment. That's the problem with the entire political system. It's all BS. And if you do anything to try to make any kind of change, we saw what happened.
Right. Where's Greta Thunberg in Saudi Arabia and China?
Of course, right.
They wouldn't put up with her very long. They don't suffer fools.
Oh, Greta, thank you very much. Come here, and lock the door. Ain't she gone forever?
She's a
like,
Liga.
Why is she not wearing a mask?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a Saudi Arabia mask.
Oh, no, COVID bullet.
Yeah,
It's
weird.
Oh, we shot it. Whoops.
Oopsie. All right. Now let's move on to this. Is another thing, this is a story coming from across the pond. Hey, by the way, if you're watching right now, hit the like button.
Yeah.
Right. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube, or hit the share button. That's what they like with the algorithms. And I should tell you too, as well, if you don't see us here, we're obviously gone in July. We're also working on some other behind the scenes productions that I can't discuss right now. So when we're gone, we're not really gone. You can watch us on Rumble, or you can watch us on Mug Club. Today we have an additional full hour of show, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We will tell you when we're not here. July, if you miss us, we're probably not here. Every other day, just tune in. Monday through Thursday at 10. Okay. Here's in the BBC, this transgender paramedic, and the name is Steve Meach.
Steph.
I know.
It used to be.
Well, if you can spell Steven with a PH.
Well, she took off the EN.
Yeah.
No,
she, yes.
She.
She, Z. I'm not going to get the pronouns right anyways. I'm not trying to do it wrong because I don't know how to do it right. He receives physical and verbal abuse, she says, from patients because he's a transgender woman. And this was an article on, can you believe that the paramedic, and by the way, keep in mind, this isn't even denying someone who's transgender goods or services. It's simply saying, like, I don't want your goods or services.
Yeah, also, EMTs tend to get messed with pretty bad, unfortunately.
Yes,
Yeah.
across the board.
Yes.
And by the way, I wouldn't blame them if certain areas of town, they were like, I don't have the hazmat suit ready.
Right.
Well,
it depends on how much effort Steph puts into it, right? If Steph shows up with, like, eyeliner and some lipstick and looks like...
was it not in the overlay, the picture of Steph, Steve?
Oh, I didn't see.
Oh, well, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't look at it and go. You probably just think it was Gerard Depardieu in lipstick.
Yeah, you're just coming to. You're like, am I in Bogus?
What is this?
I'm in the film Bogus.
Yeah.
That's our
See?
EMT right there.
I didn't see that. Yeah, sorry.
I can't believe. I can't believe anybody else remembered Bogus.
Oh, of course, it's terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
Now, this is a story, and of course, this is again outrage currency. We were curious, and of course, we've been developing our own investigative news arm here at Loud Earth Crowder. So we sent our team out to East Sussex, East Stevix, to learn more.
It's Lane on location with Street Beats, and today we're in the tough streets of some poor English town with a local folk hero, the transgender paramedic. Hi, could you please introduce yourself?
I'm the transgender paramedic.
And what's your name?
My name used to be Tyler, but now it's Terry.
Tyler to Terry, how about that? Now, I'm sure it's a little tough in today's world with all the right-wing media channels and such. How does it feel to be a transgender paramedic?
Oh, well, it's very freeing, except my back.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. Can you...
No.
Are you getting this? It's live. It's live.
No.
What's wrong?
This man has clearly lacerated his arm.
Please help him, transgender paramedic.
Lay down.
The tree there, and
lay down.
Sure, lay down. Let our paramedic help you.
What are you?
I'm a transgender paramedic. Please lay down.
Okay.
I come to help.
All right.
The transgender paramedic is going to perform.
All right.
Paramedicing right now. Okay. What seems to be the problem?
Okay. I was trying to climb the tree there, and then I slipped and I cut off with my arm on the branch there.
Well, it's standard procedure to then go and cut your pants.
No,
I must cut your pants off. How are you feeling? I must cut your pants off.
It's my arm complete.
All right.
It's not anywhere. It's my arm.
It looks like he needs mouth to mouth. So I'm going to perform mouth to mouth on him now.
Okay, that is in.
Oh my God! Cut it.
It's.
I understand that we like to deal in stereotypes here, but why did we assume that all Englishmen look like Gomez Adams as a busboy?
I could only find a vest. Also, that sketch was 4 minutes longer.
Yeah. It wasn't a sketch.
I didn't know you were taping that.
Now, here, this is another topic that I really want to talk about. And I'm curious as to what you think. I'd love for you to comment below. The more I think about it, the more I passionately defend the idea of teachers being able to carry firearms, teachers who are qualified, teachers who want to.
Yeah.
I don't believe in forcing any teachers to carry firearms. But I thought about it and said, yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. Now I think it's actually the only reasonable first step at this point. When people say, oh, well, you think they're going to be more effective than the cops? How many more stories do you need of people who aren't cops being more effective than the cops?
Right.
You know what's more effective than the cops? Being there.
Yeah, I was about to say, they would just at least be there before the police most of the time.
Right. And so in Ohio now, their Governor Mike, is it DeWine? DeWine. I thought it was DeWine, but someone corrected me and said it's DeWine. I was like,
if it's DeWine, that's bad.
That's not what it is.
Just
but someone corrected me, and I always assume that other people are right.
DeWine.
So signed a bill that does make it a lot easier for their teachers and staff to carry guns. Okay. So let me get through what's changed. Okay, so back then, Ohio teachers, they were allowed to carry guns.
Yeah.
Right, they were allowed to carry guns even if you go, let's take it 2021 to now, okay? Because there are little subtle changes that occur in legislation all the time. So that's kind of the A/B test we'll give you. They were allowed to carry firearms. That's true. But, and this is where it's not do you have laws, it's are the laws applied equally? Are the laws applied reasonably?
Yeah.
So teachers sure could carry firearms, but they had to undergo the same minimum training that it takes to be a police officer. Here's from the Ohio Supreme Court ruling. It was no public or private educational institution shall employ a person in which such person goes armed while on duty who has not received a certificate of having satisfactorily completed an approved basic peace officer training program unless the person has completed 20 years of active duty. So what does that mean? That means you could have been a cop for 20 years and then decided, you know what, I want to teach. Right as your pension kicks in.
Yeah,
right.
Seems right.
Or 700 hours of instruction.
Unbelievable.
Now,
who doesn't have that?
Right.
Well, they have summers.
You only work 2,000 hours a year if you're employed full time.
Right.
Okay, so just do the math.
3 months.
It's basically half of your annual
full time
work.
9 to
full
5,
time,
5 days a week.
Now I know that it's skewed a little bit because teachers. Sorry, the real heroes get 3 months off.
Yeah.
So. Think about that, 700 hours. You have the left going, well, don't you need some training? Okay. And they say, well, we should have 700 hours. That's not reasonable. And then they try and paint my point of view, your point of view, right? Here's their claim now that they are making. The claim that they just made this morning on CNN, and I didn't have time to read the bill in full, so I was listening to CNN, and right away my BS meter went up, and I'll give you the truth right after. They say that this law does not set a new minimum, which used to be 700 hours, of range training for teachers. This was this morning on CNN.
Let's start with the training time. What is your issue with the training time reduction?
I'm handsome.
Well, 24 hours maximum training on this bill. And what it doesn't set a minimum. So it could be as little as 4 hours of training that we're seeing in this bill. And it doesn't talk about how long you spend at the range.
What is the minimum amount of time that, say, a teacher who might be armed could end up spending at the range to get their qualification for this, as you see it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really say in the bill. I mean, what it talks about is 4 hours of training in scenario-based incidents, and that's it.
Hey, by the way, you people below here, can you send this to Snopes? Can you send this to PolitiFact? Can you send this to WAPO? Because I'm about to hit you with the truth here, okay? I don't know why they can't be bothered. All references available at loudofcrowder.com. The bill is there. It says in the bill, the approved training programs must include 20 hours for handguns, 5 more hours for each additional firearm. So, when they say Donald Trump said he was the greatest president in the world and fact check, mostly false. The bill doesn't say that there's any kind of a minimum. It's right there.
Yeah, well, it's in the bill, but also, did you listen to what he said? He's like, 20 hours down to as little as 4, but there's no minimum. I'm like, well, then where did the 4 come from? As little as 4 says that's the minimum.
Right.
You said it in a follow-up question. I just see the number 4. Well, is that the minimum? Man, it doesn't look like to be a minimum. Is there a lower number? Well, 4.
Think about this. The guest didn't read the bill. The host didn't read the bill. None of the producers read the bill. The booker didn't read the bill. And apparently the fact checkers looking out for you and the ones who YouTube and Facebook and Twitter use to label misinformation haven't read the godforsaken bill. I'm not making this up. Go check the reference. I have a link right to the bill. 20 hours for handguns, 5 more hours for each additional firearm. Just to be clear, I don't know. It doesn't say in the bill. By the way, in that segment, you know what else they didn't include? They didn't tell you that it required 700 hours before that. Because basically, before that, you couldn't carry a firearm as a teacher. Now you can. This is where we should find common ground, right? When people say, well, you should have to have some kind of training. First off, you shouldn't have to have training to carry a firearm yourself. To have a firearm yourself, to own a firearm. I know people don't like that, but the fact that you have the right to keep and bear arms, it doesn't say after a minimum course. But I do understand that with teachers in those scenarios, I understand that it's a different situation contextually, but when they say there should be some kind of training, 20 hours? Plus 5?
Not 700.
Plus, where's your middle ground here? Isn't that middle ground? In other words, it already requires it. And they want to act as though this is the Wild West in public schools.
Yeah, I think she's had 700 hours of chin sculpting.
Yep.
Because that should be bigger. And you can kind of tell it's been pulled in.
It's referred to as cool sculpting.
Cool sculpting.
I found out about that because one of our lovely fans told me I need to get it.
Yeah. I found out because I was looking into it myself.
After the fan told you.
No, nobody told me, but I agree.
Well, we got a couple's discount.
Yeah, we kind of went together and we're like, hey,
yep.
Have you seen the new Toy Story?
And after that, we're going to go see Christina. We're going to make a night of it.
Okay.
So, even the governor of Ohio, he said, what this...
bigger this time.
Yeah. He said, what this legislature has done, I've done by signing it, is giving schools an option based on their particular circumstances to make the best decision they can with the best information that they have. That's all any decision maker can do. Now, again, think about it. We're talking about this law here in Ohio. I'm very glad. I would like to see more. And again, the left says, well, you can't just have it without some kind of prerequisites. They have it. So this is the issue. When someone says, not enough, not enough, not enough, okay, you give me the number. Give me the number. Hey, comment below. I know that a lot, you watching right now, you may be a liberal, a classical liberal. Not everyone who watches or listens to this show on audio is conservative. You may be, what's the minimum? 20 hours, not enough, plus 5. 20 plus 5 for additional guns, not enough. What does it need to be? 30? Does it need to be 40? And if you do that, if you claim that number, where's the substantiation that there's a big difference in the number of someone safely operating a firearm between 20 hours and 30 hours? Or 30 hours and 40 hours? Or 40 hours and 700, give or take 100? Give me the number. There is now a number on the table. We now have 2 numbers on the table. 700, 20 plus 5. We should allow the American public. We should allow them to make a decision. We need to represent to them honestly what options are on the table. An option is now on the table in Ohio. It's a petri dish. We'll see what happens. You need to present one. The left never has to. No. Give me a number. If 20 is so offensive that you lie about it and say there is no minimum on CNN, the most trusted name in news, said James Earl Jones, then give me a number.
They won't do it, but there's also an alarming trend because this ruling is not saying that every school district has to allow this. No. This is basically what he said in his quote is, I gave them the option to do that. In Cleveland, they actually said, and by the way, Cleveland, I wouldn't lead the way on this. You guys suck for public schools. They said, we're not going to allow any of our teachers to carry any firearms. Can you imagine, play this scenario out, and God forbid if this happens, I hope it doesn't. Some cities say, yes, they arm their teachers. They never experience an issue. Or if they experience an issue, they're able to take care of it and protect their children. Right. Other cities say, no, we're never going to allow somebody to be armed on our campus who is not a police officer. And a situation happens and you can't get that back. Right. Do you think Uvalde would have loved to have had teachers on campus with guns during that? Of course they would. Yeah. Columbine and Parkland would have loved that as well. And Newtown, they would have loved to have that kind of an option for protection. Why is it that people are against freedom? The Roe v. Wade argument is that I don't want states making laws. This argument, I don't want cities to have that ability.
Yeah. It's 2 things. You have states' rights, and then states can also create municipal rights, right? This idea is of it to be decentralized. That's important. A lot of people don't understand that. But then you also get to the point, these people claim that teachers are the true heroes, and obviously the police are evil, defund the police. By the way, what, you think that teachers with guns are going to be as capable as the police? Do you think the true heroes, let's change that phrase. Do you think the true heroes are going to be as capable as the evil, racist police force we've been vilifying for years? Well, I don't know. Hold on a second. I don't think that either of those characterizations are true. It's a generalization that I don't agree with on either side. But maybe the same teachers who more effectively evacuated students and protected them at Uvalde would have been more effective than the police who did nothing. Than the police there and it's not because all of these policemen are bad people or cowards. It's because I had a chief who said, do nothing. Do nothing. They heard students getting massacred and did nothing. And there were teachers there who were not allowed to have firearms, who were evacuating and bringing other children to safety. Oh, and by the way, it was an off-duty patrol agent, border patrol agent, who came in with a gun that he borrowed from a barber who stopped the shooter. So yeah, I tend to think that maybe some teachers could be more effective than some police officers. But, that's just me looking at statistics and the actual situations that we've just faced, which are the catalysts for these laws. So something else, by the way, thank you, Ohio, for moving in the right direction. And congratulations to the 155. We have 155,000 people just in the state of Ohio.
Oh, nice.
Who watch right now, if you're watching or listening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bunch of Bone Thugs fans.
Or at least I should say 155,000 screens.
Screens.
Just in Ohio. So I don't know how many people are watching.
Could be bots.
But yeah,
cats.
Does it hurt to try? Why don't we just do that? Because I know a lot of teachers, and I know teachers that are willing to carry.
Right.
So it's like, why don't we just try?
Yeah, and
I'm
assuming these teachers are probably people who carry outside of the classroom.
Yeah.
Yes, and some used to be in enforcement.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're not forcing anybody to carry firearms. And by the way, I don't know if you know this.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah.
Concealed carry holders, it's the single most law-abiding demographic that we've studied. They commit fewer crimes than off-duty police officers. Fewer crimes than lawyers, okay? This is the most law-abiding demographic that we have studied to date. So, yeah, I think allowing these people to carry in a place where obviously is a gun-free zone and people are sitting ducks, I think allowing the people who've already displayed a responsible proclivity to carrying firearms outside of there, I don't know why their rights go away.
And caring for children.
Yeah. By the way, how many hours are most of the concealed carry? I think in the state of Texas, what is it, like an 8-hour class?
Right.
28 minutes.
Eight hours produces the most law-abiding group of gun owners that we've seen.
And the guy who did mine was an absolute douchebag.
Real. Yeah.
Oh, he was the worst. He's like, I wouldn't use that gun if my life depended on it. Really? Why? Because I'm going to go into a 2-hour, completely unrelated side story here about the time I was at a gas pump. And it's like, please, just shut up.
Oh, jeez.
Just shut up.
You drive a 6-wheel truck, don't you? I do.
I do.
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Do you haul stuff? No.
No, I don't.
No, I do not.
No. Don't work with my hands ever.
Man, look at those. Have you ever seen them so baby soft?
Go ahead, touch them.
Ooh.
It's like the duck in the Dawn commercial.
It's like a lady. You like it?
And we're going to go here to Mug Club. By the way, hit that like button, hit the share button, and Dave is going to be this Friday in Grand Junction, Colorado, just to let you know. We're both there Saturday in Colorado Springs. It's sold out, but I think there's we put a hold on like 150 or 200 tickets. So if you're there, you can walk up because we still want you to have the opportunity. And of course, loudouscutter.com/tour. Fall tour.
Big time.
Tickets now on sale. You asked for it. We did it. We're about to hit the Fox News propaganda transitioning children piece here on Mug Club. And we wanted to put it on Mug Club because I didn't know how angry I would get, but I can guess. YouTube piss off.